How's it going, everybody? My name is Trypps, and today I'm going to be taking a look at a little bit of a Zeus game, but I'm not going to be going too in-depth on it. It's a little bit of an experiment that I did, where I just cut up my impact on the game, plus a few other things and that happen, like Roshan kills, or tower kills, tower denies. But my main focus right now is I kind of wanted to talk about anger as far as, video games overall, but the MOBA scene goes. So basically, I was inspired to make this video after a few games of Dota. People are just extremely toxic. Yes, even myself, if you play a game, you're in it for an hour sometimes. Sometimes they go faster, but you're in it for a long time. You're investing a lot of your time in a game that you're probably passionate about, like myself. Even if you're not, you're still investing a lot of your time. And for someone to do or play poorly, it kind of throws off the whole thing, and it'll throw off your morale and the team's morale, because in this type of game, unless someone is by far leagues ahead of everybody, if everyone's roughly around the same skill, it can heavily diminish your chances of winning the game. So you just think that, if someone dies at the first rune, or if someone, just continuously dies because they're just getting overwhelmed in their lane, that's it. You lose. It's been 10 minutes, and now you have to sit through the game for upwards of 45 minutes to just find out that you're going to lose. So a lot of people, they just can't handle that, and they just start yelling. And, if it's not yelling on microphone, because I know in League of Legends they don't have voice over IP built into the game like it is in Dota, but people just they can't handle it. I don't know if they're trying to be helpful. Obviously sometimes they're blatantly not trying to be helpful, but most of the time it's like, even if myself, I'm like, hey, that's a bad item, don't build that, build this. I've had people just because they're playing poorly, and they're probably irritated either with themselves, or if it was, another player's fault and that other player lived, because they said, you know what, I'm going to get out, I'm not going to fight, I could possibly die, and the other player, the player that died, and that is angry, went in because they thought, okay, we got this, we totally have the skills up, we're going to use this, and it's just the two mindsets that split. And the person who died is now irritated. The person who lived, probably gave them direction and was like, you shouldn't have done that. And he said, well, why did you run away? So, you could go into a bunch of different things. But it's more so even if you try to help that person, they're mad. They're on the aggressive. They don't want to take your advice, even if it is good advice, even if it's, something that they didn't know, that they haven't played that character. So it's a little tip that you're trying to give them. It doesn't matter if it's, the best tip you could possibly give them. They're not listening to what you're saying. They're on the aggressive, basically. And it's this idea in MOBAs that this is the community, that this is just how it is. So a lot of people ignore it. A lot of people just, mute, don't talk to them, whatever. That's a good thing. But really, it has to be the systems that the companies put in place, where you need to report these people, because a lot of this is the people who do it, they're just like, oh, it's a toxic community. They may not say it out loud, but it has to be going on subconsciously that it's a toxic community. This is what everybody does, so this is what I should do. If I'm faced with a game where we're gonna lose, sometimes people don't realize, but you're gonna lose the games unless you're on pro teams, or even pro teams. When teams lose, the subreddits go crazy, and they're like, yep, all right, we're off this bandwagon. They're done. That team's done. They lose. They're bad now, so we should just not believe in them ever again. And that's just, that's obviously wrong. Anyone with a logical basis to think off of is that's just dumb. You're not going to win everything. You got to lose. And I know some teams don't. I think Secret, Dota 2 professional team, they had a huge streak recently of they just didn't lose, which is amazing. But then guess what? They started losing. It's not Yeah, but I think that's where the basis comes from, is that you want to win, which is not wrong at all. You want to win. And if you think that you're going to lose and waste all this time, then the anger comes out. But it's, I don't know where the line to be drawn is, because, yeah, I've gotten angry myself, but it's not the type where I lash out. It's more like the irritated, and I don't get it. I don't understand why the people do the things that they do. And I try to focus on my own game. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I've never aggressively tried to comment on someone's build, but I know personally I've not gone all the way to lash out at anybody. As far as I can, recall, I probably have done some dumb things, but nothing comes to mind. But it's more so like, even in real life, even I've played games with people who I know personally face to face, and we're friends and stuff like that, but it's just these games that it's the aggressive or the competitive manner of these games where it's like, you want to win, you got to be the best. If you're not the best, you're crap. And these people just, like, the Incredible Hulk comes out behind the computer, and it's just mind-blowing to see these people that that you love, if they're your friends and stuff, that they just lash out at you like you're the devil over this game, which is another inspiration for this video. And it's weird to see. But like I said before, just a little bit ago, there's also that mentality of, if you're not the best, you're shit. You're done. You're a scrub. Who cares what you have to say? So a lot of the times, if it's, you're a support, you're squishy, you're not, you have, people have said, the license to feed because you make space for the playmakers. But if you're 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 because you've had a rough game, and you're like, hey man, I play that character a lot, you should probably be building this, and probably, be like leveling your skills like this, and people are just like, nope, I don't care what you have to say, you're an idiot because you're 1 in 5. And that's another, just like, people don't take in the overall game aspect of what's going on. So, I mean, you could dive into that a bunch, which I don't want to, because I'm going to talk the whole video about it. But it's more so the overall picture of the video I'm trying to get at in the discussion is just, if you find yourself getting into that mentality of, you don't know what you're talking about, or I shouldn't listen to what you have to say because of X. Okay, well, if they're being rude to you and you don't want to listen to them, that's one thing. But if it's just, they're just trying to help you out, even if it's in an aggressive manner because the game's going poorly and they're irritated, take everything that they have to say with a grain of salt. So if they say, hey, you're an idiot, you should be building this item, you're not an idiot, they're just saying that aggressively. But then think about the item choice that they said. What could that do? Could that benefit you in any way? Maybe the way that you think is wrong. Maybe it's an older build, because the way that these games work, I don't know why you'd be watching this video if you don't know how these games work, but patches comes out. So you might be building an item, and then when a patch comes out, a week later, that item's crap. They changed the item, and items are better than that item now. So it's an ever-evolving game as far as the patches go. So that's another thing, is people are also stuck in these like cookie cutter, like, this is how you do it, so this is why you're wrong. I played a game the other day. I went mana boots on Invoker because it later on built into Octarine Core, and I was just trying stuff out, and people just call you out, and they're like, you're an idiot because of X, or because you went mana boots. And it's like, I don't know. It's just the mentality of thinking that bothers me, and so that's why I wanted to have this discussion with myself more so, and anybody else who wants to comment. But other than that, the only things that I can say is, if there are these people, because I have seen the type of people where they say just the most over-the-top things, like, talking about families getting cancer and uninstall the game, you're so bad, and like all this other stuff. And it's like, that doesn't make sense, because no one's going to be perfect. Every game that you play is a game that you're learning something new about the game, or you're toning your mechanics down and you're getting better at these heroes, but you're not perfect, because normal matchmaking. You're you're just a player in the game. You don't have to be the best. But back on the mentality of like the other comments, the like death threats, and I mean in other games, even I think in League of Legends. I don't know if he was playing League at the time, but like Phantom Lord got swatted while he was streaming and stuff like that. All this like I think it's more so in like the FPS community because I think he also played CS:GO a little bit, but some of these mentalities are just I can't put together in my head. But stuff like that, stuff like, you know, death threats, I hope your family gets cancer, like you should die, stuff like that. Those are things that the people who know, you know, how to realistically interact with people, those are the people who mute these people, report these people. If you report them enough, don't just think, oh, I'm just one person reporting them. You know, if you find somebody else, if you're solo queuing and somebody else you connect with, and everybody on your team is like, wow, I don't get why, you know, X person is saying these things. Well, then just mute that person, have everybody in the game report that person, and it sucks, yes, but you kind of just gotta chalk that game up to, well, that was because of X person and their attitude, so, you know, we'll just queue up and play again. And it can get irritating because a lot of things like Elo Hell come up and where everyone's AFK, everyone DCs, everyone's just a troll. And it's just, you gotta think more optimistically than that. And some people are gonna say, oh no, it's realistic to think that these things are gonna happen. Yeah, everything's not gonna be perfect, you know. There's always bad apples. And because of how huge this type of game is right now, there's gonna be a lot of bad apples. But I think I've talked myself into circles, and I think the point I'm trying to get across is that you just they put these systems in place for us to self-regulate our games, and we have to be the ones to control these people. You have to, you know, come out and, you know, yeah, you're being the white knight, as some people call it. They're trying to put a negative connotation on even trying to clean up your own community, trying to be good to other people. People put a negative connotation on that, and that's even more sad. But other than that, I think that's the point. I think that's think about the things that you say before you say them. Understand that person on the other side of the keyboard is a real person. You know, some people can take this stuff to heart. Some people can, you know, get really, really upset about this stuff. And those people that try to make those people upset just because they feel that they have that power of anonymity, being anonymous on the other side of the keyboard, there's no way, you know, oh, they can't find me, so I can be as rude as possible. That's sad. But other than that, guys, I think that's mainly the end of the video, and I hope you enjoyed what I had to say. If you have anything to say on top of what I had to say, feel free to comment. But yeah, this is kind of an experimental video, just the way that it's set up and everything. So if you liked it, make sure you show me, and come over and check me out on my Twitch stream. It's easier for me to stream than it is to make overcomplicated videos. Thanks, guys.